Okay, so we just peel these off. Some of these are kind of yucky. I can tell some of these are newer too. These have been replaced in the last few years. Because normally in condos like this, you walk into a kitchen like this, these will be all yellow, like dark yellow and nasty. Sometimes to the point that the light has no effect. So we just peel all these off like this. And this is a standard suspended ceiling. And luckily, if you look over here on the edge here along the wall, we come around here and take a look, you can see they never riveted these cross tees to the wall bracket there. So that's actually going to make our job a lot easier because these all just kind of interlock. They'll come right out and these will pop right off. We'll have this ceiling down in 5-10 minutes.
You want this alright? Want this alright? Too good to be true. You want this alright? Want this alright?
Hey everybody, Jeff here, and welcome back to our channel. If this is your first time visiting us, this is a great time for you to take a look at the subscription button down below, and you might want to click on that so you can be aware of all of the other videos that we put out to help you. So this is all for you, my friends. And at the same time, when you subscribe, make sure you click on that bell icon right next to it that will appear when you subscribe, because it doesn't make any sense if you subscribe without being alerted to every time we put up a new video. Okay? And then if you have any questions at all, leave them down in the comments and we'll answer them for you. So let's get started with today's project. Well, you can see here, now that we've exposed the whole ceiling space up here, you can see some things that are going to have to change before we can raise the ceiling up from down here all the way up to 1.5 inches away from the corner right up there. So see how they ran the phone lines through the hole up there in that wall? We are going to have to somehow move that up higher. And then you can see right here that we have a register here on the up here on the wall that's coming out. We're probably going to block that off, not block it completely. We're going to just make it flush with the wall and put the register on the front face there, facing downward towards the kitchen here. It'll still have the same effect and you'll still have air conditioning coming in the kitchen. And then we need to investigate what they did there, what's behind all of that duct tape that you see right there. That's the oven, that's the 6'3" oven cable coming out of there from the fuse panel here, see? So it runs from there and it runs all the way along the ceiling, and it pops in the other end where they did the same thing. And then I also see a hole in the drywall over there that we're going to have to repair. So that was just some stupidity in construction like we normally see. Nothing new there. Alright, so coming back up here to where we originally found this duct tape here. This is a lesson in how not to seal a hole in a wall, because the duct tape dries and cracks. See, it just comes off very brittle like. So we're gonna go ahead and figure out what these clowns did when they built the place, and we're going to go ahead and patch that up properly. And then over here where the AC vent, the register was coming out of the wall, you can see they got a hole over here that they never plugged, and it just wasn't finished right properly up top there either. So we're going to have to take care of all that too when we raise this ceiling. And as I promised, it all came down in about 5 minutes, and there it all is on the floor. We're going to recycle all of this stuff. We'll put this out on bulk trash day for the guys that come around and get all the metal. We try to throw as little into the landfill as possible. But you can see we have a little bit of prep ahead of us before we can put our studs up onto the ceiling there, anchor in our 2x4s to hold the drywall. Okay, so I wanted to just take a minute here and show you. I came up with this plan here, this drawing, and it basically shows a bird's eye view if you were looking down from the unit up above as to what is going to happen on the ceiling here. So if you see all of these brown things here, these represent wood pieces. These are the furring strips or the strapping, the ceiling strapping that we're going to put down. So these are 2x4s that we're going to lay flat up against the ceiling, and we're going to drill them into the concrete. And this will be the support structure to drill the concrete into, not the concrete. This will be the support structure to drill the drywall into here. So if you look here, like this here is a single 8x4 sheet of drywall, and we just have to cut it down to 7 feet 10 inches. Same with this section here. And then the last section here, we only need about 2 feet wide by 7 inches, 7 feet 10 inches, right? So what you have here is we got really lucky. There's not going to be any butt joints. It's just 3 sheets of drywall that we need to buy here, right? And if you look here, you'll see I have some of the straps coming down the middle here too. One here, one here. Ideally, when the builders build a ceiling strapping for their drywall ceilings, they want to have 16 inches on center. That's ideal. A lot of times they end up with 24 inch, and that's fine too, with 2 constraints. Number one, we have to make sure that we put glue on every one of these straps here before we attach the drywall. And then when we do the drywall, we have to make sure we're using 5/8 inch drywall. It's a lot stiffer than the 1/2 inch. I don't recommend ever using 1/2 inch drywall on the ceiling because it bends and ripples too much. And also the 5/8 inch is better fire rated for you as well. Now fire code isn't so much of an issue for us right now because we have a cement slab up on the ceiling. All right, but I still like to go above minimum code whenever I can. And we're going to put fire caulking around all of these here. And since there's no butt joints, the taping will go a lot easier here because drywall sheets, as you know, along the long end have a little valley cut into them, and you can just put the tape right in there, and it'll go down quicker and easier, and it muds over easier. Now here's our disc lights here, and I'll show you those in a minute. The disc lights are what we have to use here. They actually call them wafer lights. They're LED wafer lights. And these will fit in the 1.5 inch space that's up in there. And we'll pre-wire their little cans. They're tiny little power supply cans. We don't use the big cans anymore for recessed lighting. These discs just clip into the holes that we're going to make in the drywall here. And if you notice here, I make my spacing 3 feet from every wall. And this is where a lot of people drop the ball in kitchen lighting. And we just went through this at my friend's house. The electrician came in and put, like for example, this light here, like just inches away from the front of the cabinet. And when you do that, it creates too much of a harsh shadow that goes down onto the counter. And you'll end up with darkness underneath your counters. So the way you overcome that is you have your lights out 3 feet from the wall. And that creates a nice wide dispersion pattern of lighting. So it's very simple. There's not a whole lot of rocket science to it, but so many people drop the ball on this very important point. Make sure your lights are at least 3 feet away from the wall, not 2 feet away from the wall. You don't want to be 12 inches away from your cabinet. You want to be 24 inches away from the front of your cabinet here. And then this wire right here, we're going to install that today. That's the big thick power cord that goes from the fuse panel over to where the stove is. Okay, and so you see we have to leave cutouts here in our strapping to allow us to run wires here and there throughout. And that's pretty much all there is to it. There's a couple of possibilities we have for choices here. We can do the old cabinet was 30 inches. So you see how it ends up here at the 30-inch mark? And so what we want to do is get something better than that, something taller, because look how much space would be left from here to the ceiling, right? So most of your standard cabinets now, you can get 30 inch, you can get 36 inches, and that would take us up to this line. What I need to find out from my custom cabinet builders is, do they have a 40-inch cabinet? Because ideally, I would want to do like a 40 or 42-inch cabinet. The problem is if I want to do a 42-inch cabinet, there's not enough space up here. Because remember, this is what my 2x4s are going to take up, that space right up top there. And the 5-inch drywall is going to go there. So I have to end my cabinets right there. That would have to be my end point. So if we can get a 40-inch cabinet, we're fine. If not, we have to back down to 36-inch. All right, so now we have to tackle the issue of this thing here. This was our air conditioning ducting that had the old register on it, which was on the ceiling. With this new kitchen remodel, what we're going to do is we're going to cut it back here, remove the whole thing, and it'll be flush with the wall, and we'll come up with a new duct system that will allow the register to end right there on the wall. Alright, so now we've cut around the edge. I'm going to just pull it off the wall there, and we'll have to make some adjustment cuts here. Alright, so we made the cut there. Now we have separation. So now that's what we're looking at here. So we're going to come up with a way to terminate this better with the ducting here, and we'll get a register that will fit on here, and now it'll just be a wall register. Alright, so what you've seen us do here is we're putting pilot holes here on these 2x4s before we mount them to the ceiling. So these pilot holes are going to be for all of the Tapcons, and I'll usually put one close to the end, and then you'll see I kind of stagger them as I go down. This one will be on the right side, and the next one will be down here on the left side of the stud. And then we'll put this stud up against the ceiling there, against that cement slab, and we will put a concrete bit in here, and we'll just kind of tap it and make score marks on the ceiling for where we're going to drill, and then we'll go ahead and drill the holes for the Tapcons. Okay, and as we enter the kitchen here, you can see our ceiling strapping here for the drywall ceilings is taking shape. We have the perimeter up pretty much. So you can see all we did was we took our 2x4 studs and screwed them up to the ceiling, thus turning them into drywall strapping. And you can see what we've done here is we kind of stagger the anchors, the Tapcons. So we just kind of alternate them, gives it a little bit more stability. See how they go here and up there and then back that way, then up to this end and then back to that end. And that's how we do it all the way around. And we just leave room here and there wherever we need to get a cable across, because we're only going to put our screws maybe 6 or 8 inches apart going around the perimeter here. So we're going to start getting some more of these put up now to go across. They'll be our 24-inch. We'll have them every 24 inches. And you can see we've already got our lights, our puck lights. The boxes for them are already attached to the concrete ceiling there. And they just wire from one to the next in a daisy chain fashion. And we'll unplug these discs once we put the drywall up, has the holes in them. And once the drywall is up and secured, we'll attach these discs right into the hole. The holes will be cut out in the drywall big enough to hold these lights, and they'll snap right in. Now that we have the hole drilled in the concrete, it's time to pull out the impact driver, and we're going to drive in this Tapcon here up into the concrete. And that's how you do it, all the way down the line. Alright, so you just saw, I like to vacuum out my holes after I drill them. And the reason is so that there's no concrete powder that's in there that could bind up. So when you try to put in your Tapcons here, so you don't want it getting all bound up on the threads here. And it'll keep your Tapcon from going in, it'll make it hard to get it in there. It's not as important on the ceiling here. There's our hole. Not as important as it is on the walls. Because on the ceiling, most of it does fall out by gravity. But it's always good to clean it out. I like to be consistent. Alright, so this is what I call insurance. Whenever I secure wood up to the concrete, I always like to run a bead of PL adhesive. And I'm just going to smooth it up in there. This just kind of helps seal it to the ceiling. Gives it a little bit extra oomph. It's the same thing they do with the cabinets when we secure the cabinets to the wall, see? So it's just gonna help give you the strength of 1,000 nails. And we'll do that all the way around. Wherever you see those cracks are, we're gonna go ahead and try to tool some of this adhesive in there. You can do it with liquid nails as well.
Yeah. Brand new.
Here we are the next morning. We got all the framing up, getting ready to add the drywall. We'll just remove these disc lights before we put the drywall up. Got the cords all secured nicely. Everything's routing along the strapping there along the top. All the cords are out of the way, so when we put the drywall up here, it'll just be nicely tucked underneath. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're applying the adhesive directly to the back of the drywall. It's a little easier than trying to apply it up top here to the straps, because it tends to want to become stalactites and drip down. So it's easier for me to just put it right here onto the drywall. And here we've got the 24-inch mark measured, and we're going straight down here. And that's very simple, it's all you do. Because this will be as strong as 1,000 nails. This will help greatly hold this drywall onto the ceiling. So here's our setup for putting the drywall up on the ceiling. We've got one T set up over here, and another one set up over here. And the idea is you get the sheet balanced across and fit the way you're going to put it, and then you wedge it up into the corner on both sides here. And then we have a third one that we're going to put up in the middle that holds the sheet as close as you can get to the drywall. So this one's already done, and we're about to do it on the second sheet.
4 and 8. This one there.
Okay, and before we take our T's down, we're going to show you how they look, how they're holding up the drywall in place, so that we were able to come in here and put our drywall screws up into the strapping. And you can see they're just wedged against the floor there. And so now we're going to take these down. They've served their purpose. Alright, so here we can see we've got the drywall ceiling installed here, and you can see how narrow a space you got here. So there's your can for the light, there's the electrical wire coming across leading to it, and the can is right there, and we have our circles drawn on the drywall right there, and there's another one that's going to be right over here. And so we're just going to drill these circles out and reach up in there and grab the white cable and plug in our disc lights. Alright, so this is the hole saw that we're going to use. I like this. This one's made by Klein Tools. And what I like about it is it's adjustable here. So I can set these widths here to whatever diameter of the hole that we're going to drill. So in this case, we're going to drill a 4 1/4 inch hole. And then this is cool too. This is like a little bowl that's attached to it. And when you drill up on the ceiling here, it's going to catch all the dust. So let's see how it works. We're going to start right here in the middle. And it looks like we got ourselves a nice little thinly cut hole. That only took a few seconds. And no dust, because you can see all the dust is captured right here in the bowl. Alright, so now I'm going to just reach up here and grab my white wire, and you can see it's just right here. And we're going to take the disc light here and screw it in. Alright, so we're just screwing the thing in there now. And then these here, you flip them back up, you wedge them up in the ceiling there, and it just clicks right into place. And there you have it, a beautiful thin disc light. And remember, it was all in this little space right up in here. And that, folks, is how you put a nice little disc light into a very narrow crawl space, for lack of a better word.